Hi, my name is Bibek Adhikari. I am a English instructor. In today's class, we are going to solve the reading portion of Unit 6, that is technology. So, let's begin. Let us now begin the reading portion of Unit 6, that is a computer and its parts. Before doing that, let's do a bit of pre-reading activity on technology. The first question on that would be, have you ever seen or used a mobile phone? What are they used for? So this is the first question on the pre-reading section of reading portion of Unit 6. Right? The first question that I'm going to ask you is, have you ever seen or used a mobile phone? I'm sure you have. If you have not, no biggie. But my assumption is that you have already used a mobile phone and you know what a mobile phone means, right? What are they used for? So for what different purposes, mobile phones are used? I'm sure you have used a mobile phone in your life. So for what different purposes, the mobile phones are used? Obviously for calling, obviously for sending text messages, right? For using the internet and other miscellaneous, activities like finding your path or maybe using different kind of apps to know your blood level, to your blood pressure, So stuff like that. Mobile phone is not just a simple device as it was thought to be back in the days. It's a multi-purpose, high-end device that can do almost anything based on the technology that we have today and based on the fact that we are, exponentially growing by using the technology. So that is the point. A mobile phone is not just a simple screen for calling people and sending text messages anymore. It is more like, a little world in your hand. It's like this whole world is shrunk into a smaller piece, into the size of your palm. Let's do the second question on the pre-reading activity. The second question that we have today is listing out all the technology that we use. It begins with a serial number, then we have name of the technology or machine, followed by its use and misuse. Let's list out them. Number 1, obviously mobile phones or cell phones. Use is to call people, to text people. What's the misuse? Misuse could be, overuse or bluff calls, internet harassment and stuff like that. Number 2, name of the technology. Television. Television is another technology. What's the use? Watching news can be one of the uses. So what's the misuse? Waste of time. You're glued to your TV and you watch all the nonsense, all the hocus pocus that goes on, and you become a couch potato. That's my point. You watch the celebrity gossips, you watch cartoons, you watch wrestling, you watch, Hindi soap operas. So you watch the comedy shows, you watch the wrestling, you watch Hindi soap operas, all the celebrity gossips, items like that, and your mind is bogged down, your mind is swamped with such details that you don't even need. So that's the craze of television. You get all the necessary information, all the unnecessary necessary information, you know what I mean, right? Let's try the name of third technology that we use, or the third machine. What could be the third machine that we use? It could be a camera. And what's the use of camera? To take the photos. That's what cameras are used for. What's the misuse? Maybe overuse. I can't think of any misuse. There could be bad use, obviously, but misuse. Obviously, people misuse technology. So there are many technology and machines. It's impossible to list them all here. So these 3 are just the basic ones. Let's go and really read the paragraph. A computer is an electronic device that processes information, so it is also an information processor. The information is stored in its memory and processed to bring results. When a computer shows the result of data processing on the monitor, it is called output. Thus, a computer works by combining the input, storage, processing, and output. All the main parts of a computer system are involved in one of these 4 processes. Keyboard. The computer keyboard looks like a typewriter. It uses an arrangement of buttons or keys that have characters engraved or printed on them. Each press of a key corresponds to a single written symbol. You can type text and numbers with the keyboard. The keyboard is also used for computer gaming. It is used to give commands to the operating system of a computer, so it is an input device. Mouse. The computer mouse is a pointing device with one or more buttons and is held under one of the user's hands. It is primarily made of three parts: the buttons, the handling area, and the rolling object. The mouse is one of the types of input unit. You can make commands with the device. So this paragraph contained information about computer. The beginning was the info about computer, then it moved to info about keyboard, and finally we got the information about mouse. Computer, keyboard, and mouse. Keyboard and mouse are the parts of a computer. Now we will go on studying other parts that are used in a computer. Central Processing Unit, CPU. The work that a computer does is called data processing. It includes storing information, finding the right information, and doing calculations. The part of the computer that processes the data information is called CPU, Central Processing Unit. So CPU is also known as the brain of the computer. It contains only electronic components. They are called microchips. Hard drive. The hard drive sits inside the CPU casing. It is also called the hard disk. It has a huge magnetic memory. It stores all your documents and files. So it is one of the storage devices of a computer. You can have your documents stored here. Finally, we have the optical drive. An optical drive is also known as a CD or DVD drive. It uses light to read and write data. It is the drive you use to burn CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray discs. It gives a computer persistent storage to allow it to save data. So it is another storage device of a computer. So we studied about three distinct components of a computer. The first one here was Central Processing Unit. The second one was a hard drive. And finally, we studied about the optical drive. Earlier, we studied about keyboard and mouse. Keyboard and mouse are what we call the basic input devices. Then we studied about the processing unit. And finally, we studied about storage devices including hard drive and optical drive. Now let us go on studying some more components of a computer. Finally, we have the monitor. A computer monitor is also known as Visual Display Unit, VDU, or simply screen. It looks like a television. The monitor shows the result of the data processing or as an output of the computer programming. So it is one of the output devices. You have your calculations displayed on the monitor. The last paragraph. Other common computer parts are the flash drive and printer. Though they are not the basic parts, you would better know their functions. Flash drives are also known as pen drives. You can have your data stored in them. Printers are output devices. They are used to print the result of your computer work. How nice. So we studied about monitor. Then we studied about flash drive, followed by printer. Flash drives are also known as pen drives, while printers are the output devices. Finally, we studied the conclusion. This is how the paragraph ended. So this marked the end of our reading section. So these are the basic things that we studied about: the input devices, the processing, the output devices, and storage. In the input devices section, we studied about mouse and keyboard, correct? And in the processing section, we read about the Central Processing Unit. In the storage section, we read about magnetic disk, followed by CD or DVD drives, also known as pen drives. And in the output section, we studied about soft output and hard output like monitor and printer, correct? So that's the summary sheet. Now let's go to the exercise portion. First section that we have is called Fill in the Blanks. Pretty easy. There are 9 questions. I'm going to solve the first 3 questions. Rest you can do yourself. Okay, start from the first one. A computer is an electronic machine that blank space information that processes the information. You have your information stored in the hard drive. Very good. The hard drive is the place where you can store the information. Number C, or blank space processes the data and makes calculations. What processes the data and makes calculations? Or CPU, Central Processing Unit, processes the data and makes calculations. There are other questions similar to these three questions. I guess you can solve them pretty easy, right? Now let's go to the match the following part. Right, there are 5 different words in the match the following parts. All you need to do is match the words that are given in column A with their meanings in column B. So I'm only going to do the first 2, rest you can solve yourself. Alright, let's write the meanings of these 2 words. What does monitor mean? So what's a monitor? A monitor is a screen that shows information from a computer. It's a screen that shows information from a computer. Very good. Now, what does the word keyboard mean? Keyboard means a set of keys for operating a computer. Correct? Pretty easy, right? So match the following is also done. Now let's go to the reading the text and writing the words section. Vocabulary in use. First one, performing a particular series of operations on the information such as a set of calculations. What does this whole text mean? And that's the point. We have to find the meaning. Performing a particular series of operations on the information such as a set of calculations. What does that mean? It means processing. Pretty easy, right? Now number B, the putting and keeping of things in a special place for use in the future. What does this phrase mean? It means storage. Very good. So likewise, there are 3 more questions. I guess you can solve them. Now we come to the answer question section. The first question is, name the input devices of a computer. What are the input devices of a computer? The input devices of a computer are mouse, keyboard, scanner, optical code reader, magnetic ink reader, stops like that. All you have to do is just list them. So list them. Pretty easy here. All you have to do is list the input devices of the computer. What is a computer hard drive used for? So I'm just going to write the keywords. Hard drive, store information for future reference. Use store information for future reference. Another question. What is the use of mouse? Pretty easy. I'm only going to write the keyword. The use of the mouse is to point, click, and sometimes roll over the page. Right? Pretty easy. Now there's true-false section here. First one is, an optical drive processes your raw data. Number B, a mouse is a display device. A mouse is a display device. And number C, a monitor is a television. A monitor is a television. Just find out whether these sentences are true or false. Starting from the first one, an optical drive processes your raw data. Does an optical drive process your raw data? No, it does not. Obviously a false statement. What does optical drive do? Optical drive stores your data. Number B, a mouse is a display device. Is the mouse a display device? Of course not. A mouse is a pointing and clicking device. Last number, a monitor is a television. Very true, it looks like a television, functions like a television, but it's not exactly a television, so there should be a word. A monitor is like a television. There are some other questions like a keyboard looks like a typewriter. It does. A computer has input, process, storage, output devices. Correct? It has, obviously. Now there's another question. Let's do that. Now we come to the homework section. In the homework section, I'm going to give you this question. Describe an object or a thing that you possess to your friends in the class. Write what you can do with that object or thing, right? So this is your homework. All you need to do is you need to describe an object or maybe a thing that you possess. That means that you have to your friends in the class. It could be a mobile phone, it could be a laptop, a tablet, or maybe not an electronic device. But this chapter is all about technology. You can write about an electronic device. It could be a MP3 player, iPod, or it could be a radio, FM radio. It could be a television set that you have, a refrigerator that you like. Write what you can do with that object or thing. What you can do with that object or thing, that's the question. Maybe you can play video games in it. Maybe you can watch YouTube videos, watch movies in it. Or maybe you can keep, your green grocery fresh. Or maybe you can sit in front of it and watch what's going on around the world. So you get all the information in a click. So that's the point. You can write about anything, any technical devices that you have, ranging from mobile phones to washing machines to the solar panels in your house. Can you do this? And make sure to include a lot of sensory details in your writing. What are sensory details? Let me help you to be clear on that. Let me revise what sensory details mean. So make sure to include a lot of sensory details. First of all, what are sensory details? Second of all, how to use sensory details. What are sensory details? Let us first list out all the sense organs that we have, including eyes, nose, skin, tongue, and finally what? Ears. And now let us give the action verbs or the nouns that are related with describing the sensory details, right? Starting from eyes. What do eyes do? Eyes see. So this is about vision. What did nose do? Nose smells. So it is about the smell, or it is about the odor. What does skin do? Skin feels. Touch. Let's say touch, feel. What does tongue do? Taste. Finally, what does the ear do? Hear. Different kind of sounds. Hear. So perception, sound, auditorial responses. Now while writing about something, all you have to do in this homework section is make sure to include all the sensory details. Not always all, but as many as possible. For example, let us assume that you are writing about your favorite mobile phone. Could be an iPhone, could be an Android phone. Let's say you're writing about this favorite smartphone. And now make sure to include as many sensory details as possible. So these are the sensory details. Make sure to include as many possible. Starting from eyes. So how does this smartphone look like? Maybe it looks like a small handy gadget. Maybe it looks like a flattened piece of bread. How does it smell like? Fragrant, warm smell. How does your phone smell like? Okay, this is kind of weird. How does it feel like when it is touched? It feels smooth. The texture is pretty nice and smooth. How does it taste like? Nobody has tasted a smartphone. So taste is the weirdest right here. So you see, it is not possible to include all the sensory details in your writing. You have to be very selective when it comes to using the right kind of sensory details. How does your iPhone, a smartphone, sound like? Sounds pretty nice because when the music player is on, all I can do is jump and dance, right? Something like that. Now let's go back to the homework section. Describing about an object or a thing that you possess to your friends in the class. Write what you can do with that, object or thing. So write about it. Make sure to write with your sense. That means by using as many sensory details as possible. With this, we have come to end of today's class. Now, if you have any questions or suggestions regarding this video series, feel free to write us at learning@deerwalk.edu.np. Thank you.